Welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope that everybody is having a great start to their weekend. Students, this is a members chat class, but of course everybody is welcome to watch. And this is an IELTS reading class. And this reading passage that we're looking at today will be on the topic of the formation or birth of the Himalayas. Hi, Omoni Yi. Good, welcome to the class. Let me just quickly check our settings here in a minute. Again, this material, this reading, it's coming from aehelp.com for academic IELTS and IELTShelp.com for general IELTS. Those websites have original practice exams, fully interactive courses, and over 100 hours of lesson videos for you to improve all sections of your next IELTS test. And you can use this code XR9T for a 25% discount. Welcome, Anish. Hi, Azim John. All right, the website, students, look like this. I haven't opened them yet, but I will. I'll show you now. So the academic version of our website is aehelp.com. And aehelp.com looks like this. All you have to do to join our premium package is click this big red join now button, and then you can use that code XR9T for that 25% discount. So here's where you enter that, XR9T. And you're off to the races. Welcome, Harman. Hi, Amra. All right. And for the general IELTS, it's IELTShelp.com. The website looks like this. Again, just hit that big red button there to join our premium IELTS package. We are an official British Council test registration center, and I'm a certified British Council agent, so you're definitely in great hands with us. All right, students, if you want to get our apps in your app store, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help, follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AHelp, IELTS Help, and if you have questions, send me an email about your IELTS exam, about English, maybe a question about studying abroad or immigration. We might be able to help you out. Send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. Amrit, I will check out the speaking session that you booked. Do not worry. If you've made payment for that speaking session, I will definitely be contacting you at some point today. Welcome, Carolina, our chat moderator. All right, everybody. So a little bit more kind of exciting news. We've got our regular classes, of course, today. So we will have another class that will be an all chat class. And then tomorrow we'll have a task 2 writing class for members. And then we'll have speaking part 3. And also, we are continuing using Lighthall. Lighthall is a new platform for live teaching. It's awesome. It's real time. There's no lag. So we're going to do a Lighthall special speaking class on June 19th and on June 26th. I'm going to copy that into the chat so you can register for this speaking class. I'm just putting it in the chat right now. You will see me put it into the chat. So those are the URLs there. You can click on that and join those IELTS speaking classes. They're absolutely free for now, so it's a good time to get on board. And those will be in June. So if you have exams coming up late June or July, very good idea to register for these classes. for light haul. Let me kind of move that up above. Again, the URLs, so that they're clickable, are in the chat, and we will put them also in YouTube posts as well. Okay, so reading today. Before we get to that, just let me adjust a couple of settings here real quick. So again, this is a members chat class for the reading. So if you'd like to join this chat, you do have to be a member, and the next class will be the subscribers chat class. So I'm just changing the permission right now, okay? All right, so let's get into today's reading class. This is our reading for today. It is about the formation of the Himalayas. All right, so when you get to your reading, pay attention to the title. Based on the title, you want to think about the information or the content in the text. So when you're thinking about the formation of the Himalayas, of course, that's that beautiful mountain range in India, Pakistan, Nepal, China, the tallest mountains in the world. Then what comes to mind? So you're visualizing, you're seeing this beautiful mountain range, and when you think about, what are the Himalayas, you realize it's this very famous mountain range containing the highest peaks on Earth, like Mount Everest, K2. Okay, and you are also thinking about, how and why. So how did the Himalayas form? Okay. So members, when you think about this, how did the Himalayas form? What caused the formation of the Himalayas? While you give me an answer for that, I'm going to log into the website here for our reading. Okay, so give me some answers. What happened? How were the Himalayas born? How did they become so big? What's still happening with them? I'm sure you know a little bit about this. It's quite common geography, and I think it's taught in schools. A lot of the IELTS knowledge for the reading sections comes from information that's often taught in schools from about grade 4, 5 to grade 11, 12 in public schools. Okay, so that's what you need to think about. Okay, so this is going to be kind of my first tip here. And if you're like, well, I never read about that in school, then you should kind of pick up some junior high school textbooks and read some chapter summaries and some topics, and then you'll kind of have some ideas about what you can expect for the reading topics, especially in the academic IELTS. Okay, so my question here was, how did the Himalayas form? And Amra says collision of tectonic plates. Yeah, tectonic plates, there's no H there. Yep, absolutely. Over probably millions of years, right, Amra? So think about details. The more details that you can think of when you think of the title, the better your chances of understanding the text. Okay, so keep that in mind, everybody. Okay, so the more detailed and faster you can think about the content of a passage based on the title, the better your comprehension and overall reading score. Okay, keep that in mind. And again, for the academic IELTS, most of the content is coming from information that is commonly taught in public schools from grades 5 to 12, roughly. Okay, like the formation of mountains. So how did the Himalayas form? A collision of tectonic plates. Amra says about 200 million years ago. Sure, yeah. Okay, Sanjay said created big mountains like Mount Everest. Okay. Sanjay also says it is in India. So this mountain range is in India, as well as some other countries like Nepal, China, and Pakistan, right? Very good. All right, great. So you're thinking about this, and of course, a big tip, especially when you have this kind of a physical text. So very important, okay? Especially with physical topics like mountains, is to visualize. Okay? And when you visualize, include yourself. Make it interesting. And have detail. Okay? So when you include yourself, you're going to remember the passage. And when you make it interesting, okay, you're going to understand it. And when you have detail, you're going to recall it. I should say, when you have detail, you're going to understand it. When you make it interesting, you're going to remember it. And when you include yourself, you're going to recall it. Okay? So what do I mean by this, right? Like what is Adrian saying, right? So what do you mean visualize and include myself, all right? So what I mean by this is, for example, and this is a very useful strategy when you're doing your reading, students. In this passage, I will imagine that I am a mountaineer. Anybody know what a mountaineer is? What is a mountaineer? So I'm going to be a mountaineer here. What is a mountaineer? Sanjay says visualize. What is a mountaineer? There's kind of a more common way of saying it. Oftentimes we say this in a bit of a more common way than saying mountaineer. So I'm going to be a mountaineer, and what is a mountaineer? Mountaineer is a mountain climber. And indeed, every year, lots of people wish to climb mountains in the Himalayas, right? I think Sanjay has found an emoji for a mountain climber. Yeah, Amra says it's a person who climbs mountains. Definitely. So here is my passage, right? So in this passage, I am going to be visualizing or picturing that, like that little emoji, I am Adrian, and I am there we go. I'm climbing the mountain. Let's put a little hat on me. Lots of detail. There's snow on the top. I've even got a flag that I'm going to stick at the top of the mountain. I've got a backpack. I've got a water bottle. Drinking some water. Okay, got my little shorts on. All right, so I am a mountain climber. There's some beautiful birds that are flying over the Himalayas. Of course, they wouldn't be there. Okay, so that's me. I'm that mountain climber, and I'm visualizing this. I'm seeing this, okay? So we're climbing the mountain, everyone, all right? A really big problem in the IELTS exam that many candidates talk about is that they read and then they forget what they read about. Well, this is one really good trick to get around that situation where you're forgetting what you read about, is you visualize, you picture yourself climbing these Himalayas, okay? All right, everyone, so now that we've done that, and we know what we're doing, we know the right strategy, let's take a look at the questions. So here we have some sentence completion. Okay, let's read these. So moving land masses, rising mountains. The Himalayas are massive. They span over 2,400 kilometers, and their formation provides evidence for the theory that our planet land masses have shifted position over eons. Okay, so read with me here. Read with me. All right. Sanjay, is my voice okay? Can you hear me okay? I'm not sure what you mean by, sir, your voice. Let me know. How does it work? Okay, so the asthenosphere is the something of the Earth that below the crust. It is very hot and is semi-solid. In this layer, hot gas and liquid rise up and replace cooler areas. This process, called something, causes changes of the position of Earth's continents over millions of years. Okay, thanks for letting me know that, Carolina. I think what you might mean, I've got a little bit of a nasal cold, Sanjay. That's what you might be hearing, but hopefully that'll be gone pretty soon here. Okay, let's keep reading. So here we're obviously visualizing, and we see that it's talking about the geological forces that created the Himalayas. So thinking about that continental shift, earthquakes, lava, magma, that's the right idea, okay? All right, creating the Himalayas. In short, the subcontinent of India caused the Himalayas. India used to be much further south, closer to the modern country of something. Though India moved only 12 centimeters per year, this rate added up over a something amount of time. Eventually, the force of India pushing into Asia created the highest point on Earth. Then we have some true, false, not given, and then we have some sentence short answers, okay? So this one we can read because it's all in the text. True, false, not given, we don't read because it's not necessarily in the text. So number 11, theorized more than 4 centuries ago, states that the Earth's land masses have shifted position over time. Heat rises from the lower levels of Earth towards the higher levels. So we have to match it with the correct answers. Continental drift, convection, asthenosphere. Now these would be easy to skim read or scan for because they're unique nouns, but we don't need to do that right away. Okay, so here's another really important tip for you. For some unique nouns, you will be able to use a bit of scanning to help you find the right answer, okay? So for unique nouns, like in this case, convection, you will be able to scan to help find the right answer, but you should not do this before you read the passage. Why? So why, students, why do I say that? So always read the passage first. And aim for 70% understanding at least. For a minimum 70% comprehension. Okay? So why do I say that? So I said, okay, and this is an important tip, everyone. So you can kind of scan, and you know, we often will have to do that for some common nouns like convection. So in this question here, you have convection, which is going to be one of the answers for 11, 12, or 13. And I can scan for that, but I don't want to do that before I read the passage. Why not? So why wouldn't I want to right away, just even before reading the passage, say, okay, I don't even need to read this passage. I can just start scanning. Why would it be a bad idea to just start scanning for this word? Because I'm like, oh, it's unique. Or asthenosphere, oh, it's a unique word. I can just scan for that and figure out the answer. Why would it be a bad idea to try to scan for it right away and try to match it with the correct answer? There's a very logical reason for that. Okay, and let me spoil it for you. So IELTS test makers, they're clever, and they kind of do some interesting, or take some interesting steps. Okay, Sanjay says it's a waste of time. So even though you have a unique noun like convection, okay, it could appear in the text many times. So without knowing the content, it could waste a lot of time to figure out which part is the actual answer. Okay, so you have to read, you have to understand the content. The only way to get a band 7 to 9 is to read the entire passage. Okay, so let's do that now. So just because you have a unique noun, there's no guarantees that it only appears one time in the text, okay? All right, and yes, that's right, Amrit. The words could be paraphrased. Okay, so let's do the reading, and make sure to read with me here, okay? So everybody read with me aloud, okay? If you can, if you're in a place, hopefully, where you can do this, read with me aloud, okay? All right, here we go. The formation of the Himalayas. The Himalayas are a mountain range in Asia which separates the Indian subcontinent from the rest of Asia. The Himalayas contain some of the world's highest mountains, including the highest point in the world, the legendary Mount Everest. The range is not only tall, it is also massive, stretching 2,400 kilometers across a roughly west to east arc. The creation of the Himalayas is one of the clearest examples of the theory of continental drift, which states that Earth's continents have moved relative to each other over millions of years. Put forward over 400 years ago by Abraham Ortelius, continental drift is an example of a scientific theory which is generally accepted as fact today. Continental drift theory posits that the continents have not always been in the position they are in today, and the existence of the Himalayas is strong evidence of this theory. But how does continental drift work and how did it create the Himalayas? How does continental drift work? The Earth is not a solid rock. Instead, the Earth's crust floats atop a layer of semi-solid, very hot, 1,300 degrees Celsius material known as the asthenosphere. In this layer, convection takes place, bringing heat from the lower reaches of the planet up towards the surface. Hot gas and rise up, placing cooler and denser gas and liquids. This circulation of hot and cold pushes the plates of the Earth's crust, shifting the appearance of the Earth over millions of years. Where a plate goes and how fast it goes depends on the convection currents below the surface of any given point on Earth. How did continental drift create the Himalayas? The short answer is India caused the Himalayas. 100 million years ago, what is now the Indian subcontinent stood 6,400 kilometers south of its current position, near the current position of Australia. Particularly strong convection currents below the region began to push India northward. Every year, the landmass came about 12 centimeters closer to Asia. That's about a centimeter per month. The approximate width of your pinky or little finger. This may not sound like a lot of movement, and it certainly is not on small time scales, but when taken in the context of enormous time frames, this distance becomes significant quite quickly. 12 centimeters per year is 12 meters per century, 120 meters per millennia, and 120 kilometers per million years. This means that 6,400 kilometer gap could be closed in about 50 million years, and indeed this is what happened. Over this immense time frame, India slowly but surely made its way northward on a collision course that could not be stopped. Approximately 40 to 50 million years ago, the India landmass collided with the Asian continent. With nowhere for the landmass to go and with forces underneath still propelling it forward, the landmass went the only place it could go, up. Over the past tens of millions of years, the Himalayas have formed as a result of the unstoppable force pushing India into Asia. In this time, peaks like Mount Everest have risen over the 9 kilometers above the sea level. What's next for the Himalayas? The Himalayas continue to grow. In fact, they grow approximately 1 centimeter per year. Again, this may not sound like a lot, but it means the mountain range will grow about 10 kilometers in a million years. This means that in 10 million years, the mountain range could be 100 kilometers tall. If a person could travel in time, they might see a truly colossal mountain range which dwarfed everything seen on Earth today. Other effects of movement. The creation of the Himalayas is not the only effect of India's slow but steady crash into Asia. The same forces that push the Himalayas upward also create huge tension in the Earth's crust, which form from time to time, must be released, resulting in massive earthquakes. Some of history's most violent and destructive earthquakes come as a result of the Indian subcontinent's relentless surge into Asia. Interestingly, another common consequence of plate tectonics and continental drift, volcanoes do not take place in the Himalayas. This is because the mountain range is so large and the crust underneath is so thick that any magma moving upwards solidifies before it can reach the peaks. In a sense, volcanic activity is extinct in the Himalayas. All right, And Sanjay says marine life fossils people can find in the Himalayas. Yes, which is evidence that it was once underwater and it's being pushed up and up, which is amazing. So hopefully you visualized yourself climbing or mountaineering the Himalayas and all of this activity happening underneath the mountains that you're climbing, and you're kind of almost being pushed upwards as all of this movement is happening. Okay, so wonderful reading. And notice how in this reading you have a lot of help, because you have these really nice headings for the paragraphs. So you basically have these questions that give you extra help on where information is. Okay. And for a lot of the questions, the answers come in the order of the passage. All right. So here we are going to answer the questions together, and I'm going to get our members to help me answer these questions. So I'm going to call some members. Hopefully our members will respond. Otherwise, I'll reach out to our general viewing audience. And we'll go through all the questions today, everyone. So we've got lots of time. We're going to focus on the questions. And then if you have questions about the reading, you'll be able to ask me as well. So a little bit of a different type of flow in today's class than usual, just to kind of switch things up. So to do this, let's hop over to our website. Okay. So I don't want to just give you answers. I want to teach you to fish and give answers on your own. Okay. So here is our website. Again, this website, everybody who's watching, is aehelp.com. Okay, so aehelp.com. You go to aehelp.com and you can create a student account by joining our premium IELTS package. Clicking this red Join Now button. Use that code that I gave you at the start of class. It's also pinned. It's XR9T. You can see it in the chat for that 25% discount. Or you can try it for free by clicking this green Try Demo button that's just behind my head there. And this is where you'll find all of our practice exams. Okay, and then once you have that, you can log into your My Student account. And in your My Student account, you have computer-based practice exams, and you have these exams. We're actually using one of these exams. You can download the exams from your premium course along with study plans and everything. Okay. So if you have access, you can follow with this class. That's one of the beautiful things, is you can use the books and follow these live classes very accurately. This exam is not up yet. This is one of the new ones that we're adding this year. Okay, so click on this student partner speaking if you're in here, students, members, especially student partner speaking. That's just right above my head there. Okay. And once you've clicked on that, make sure your microphone and everything is enabled. Then you will be brought to this chat page here, and you will see me as master, and you can send me a message with the blue envelope saying I want to volunteer, and then I will reach out to you and we can answer some of these reading questions together. Okay, so, and I will give you tips, strategies on what we can do to answer these questions effectively together. Okay, so I see that there's Zhao in here, Amrit, our members in here, Rano's in here. I'd love to see some more of our members in here. So Evangeline, Rashika, Sanjay, Carolina, join in here and send me a message, okay, saying I want to volunteer. All right, Harmandeep is ready to go. Okay, so members, I'm looking for you especially, but if you're not volunteering, I will ask for the help of other viewers who are watching this class to help me answer some of these questions, okay? All right, Harmandeep, I think, is ready. So let's see if Harmandeep can help us with our first answer. Hi, would you like to, okay, Harmandeep, would you like to help answer some of these passage questions? Okay, and it's more exciting this way. Harmandeep says yes. Okay, here we go. Hi, Harmandeep.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm also very great.
Okay, great. You sound a little bit distant, but that's okay. I can hear you clearly. Let me maybe put on my other ear. Here we go. Okay, Harmandeep. So, are you in India?
Yes, I'm from India in Punjab.
Okay. Have you ever been to the Himalayas?
No, yes. Lastly, I went to Himachal Pradesh. There are a lot of mountains, and I went with my friends, and there I enjoyed a lot.
Awesome. So, okay, so this passage is a little bit close to home then. Good. So let's look at these questions here, and help me to answer some of these. So here we have this kind of sentence completion type question. Okay. And it's always important to go step by step. So here we go from the top. So Himalayan formation. Can you read this first part for me with question 1, please?
Oh, okay. I have to read the questions.
Yeah, just this first one here that I'm highlighting. So just this first one.
Oh, okay, okay. The Himalayas are massive. They span over 2040 kilometers, and their formation provides evidence for dash and the theory that our planet's land masses have shifted positions over cones.
Okay, good. Now, when you're doing the IELTS exam, don't forget to read this heading as well, because that could give you extra help. So always read this part too, the moving land masses, rising mountains. Okay, so read every word. You should have enough time. Okay, good. Do you know the answer to this one? So do you know the answer for number 1? What is this theory? So the key word that we're looking at here is it's some kind of a theory. Do you remember what theory
Yes,
this
sir.
was?
I got the keyword.
Okay, what is it?
It's 2040 kilometers.
Okay, so you're thinking that what you have to look for is this 2,400 kilometers in the text, right? Okay, well, let's go look for that. If you can, in the IELTS, don't just look for this, okay? But also look for this, the theory. Because here you're looking for a theory. So when you have this comma, let me show you this. This is an interesting tip for getting the correct answer. See this comma here that comes after the word? I just put red around it. Do you see that comma?
Yes, there is a comma
Yeah.
after the dash.
Yeah, exactly. So that comma means that whatever comes into this space is this theory. So it's some kind of a theory. So you're not just looking for the 2,400 kilometers, but you're looking for the theory in the text, okay? So let's go look for that. It's going to be somewhere in the beginning, okay? So here we have the 2,400 kilometers, okay? Which will help you kind of position. But even better is you're looking for this word here, the theory. Because of that comma, you know that this has to be the answer somewhere there. So can you tell me what the answer is?
Uh, Sir, please show me the question. Hello.
Yep, here it is. Here's the question again. Okay, and I'll go back. You should be able to get it. You should only, so ideally, you're not shifting between the passage and the question more than once. So in a perfect situation on the IELTS, you only need to look at the question once, and then you can look at the passage, find the answer. You shouldn't have to go back to the question again, okay? That will take a lot of time if you have to do that. Okay, so here's the text again. Just do your best. If you don't get it, it's okay. So what do you think goes into that space?
I think the answer is the continent.
Close. The correct answer here is continental drift. Okay. Notice this sentence here. The creation of the Himalayas is one of the clearest examples of the theory of continental drift. Okay.
Oh, I was a little bit close to the answer.
You were close. It's continental drift. Now, let me show you how you can get this next time clearly, okay? So it's continental drift. Okay. See how here in the instructions it says 2 words, right? So you know that some of these answers are going to be 2 words. Okay.
Yes, sir, I know.
Okay, so it says, and their formation provides evidence for the continental drift theory. Okay. Here, pay attention to the use of commas. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So pay attention to the use of commas. Okay. Commas are used for definitive clause. Okay, definitive clause means giving a definition. Okay, so for example, ... continental drift, the theory that ... is the same as saying the theory of continental drift is ... Do you see what I mean by that? So when you see a comma, the comma means that it's a definition. So here, continental drift, comma, is a theory. The theory of continental drift. Do you kind of get how the comma is used to indicate that definition? So what?
Yes, sir. After the comma, there is explanations.
Definition. It's not just the explanation. It's, you can think about it like an explanation, but it's even better to think about it like a definition. So what the IELTS examiner is doing in this case is they're kind of switching the order of the two nouns that define each other with using that comma. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, sir. The same pattern we use in writing.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Yes. So you can do this in writing as well. Yeah, you can reverse it, right? With especially when you're doing subordinating conjunctions. So yes, absolutely. Okay. So pay attention to that. And again, yes, 2,400 kilometers will help you a little bit to find the general area of the information. But the theory is actually better in this case to help you locate this correct answer. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you for being the first volunteer and helping me with that first question, Harmandeep.
Oh, thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Okay, you too. Bye. All right, so that was Harmandeep, and I see there's another Harman here that's volunteering. I'm looking for more volunteers here, so somebody help me answer these questions. Let's see if Harman is ready. Okay, Harman, are you ready to help with another question? Okay, let me reach out, and we will get to the true, false, not givens as well, Sanjay. Don't worry about it, okay? So we'll get there as well. Harman says no. Harman, I appreciate you answering. Let's go to Sam then. Sam says, I want to volunteer. Okay, Sam, are you ready? All right. And thank you for the thumbs up for Harman Deep. Yeah, that's great. It's good to support each other. Okay. All right, here's Sam.
Hello.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
Thanks, I'm good.
Awesome. Sam, may I ask, where are you calling from?
I'm from Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan, Sam. We've spoken before, right? I think. Haven't we? Sam, have we talked before? Have you volunteered before?
No, yet. Not yet.
Oh, it's a first time. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Are you in Tashkent?
Yeah, I'm from Tashkent.
Okay, you are in Tashkent. Okay, all right. Well, let's take a look at these questions. So we'll work together. Okay. So here's the next question. How does it work? All right. So how does it work? This title will help us position and help us to locate the answer in the text. Now, ideally, you're not searching for every answer, but you might have to for some. So go ahead and read this second sentence here, and then we'll figure out the answer together. Okay, so go from the asthenosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere is the of the Earth that below the crust. It's very hot and it's semi-solid.
Okay, so it's asthenosphere, not atmosphere.
Oh,
It's
I'm sorry.
asthenosphere. Yeah, it's a different word, right? So careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so number two. Let's say you're running out of time in the IELTS. You don't have too much time. Yeah, the writing section's about to start. We're just hypothesizing here. What would you put in here? So what word would you put in here if you had to just put a word in here without searching the passage?
Like noun?
Yep, so it's some kind of a noun. And what would it be? If you have this vocabulary, you might be able to answer this without looking at the passage.
I think it's like some surface
Not surface. Think about a cake.
cake,
The
proportion or
The
just
cake. What are those things? In the cake, well, the cake has the crust on the bottom, then the chocolatey part, then the icing part. What are those called? The something of the cake.
Oh,
Starts with an L.
I don't remember.
Let me
Sorry.
give you. That's okay. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. I'm here to train you. So the first letter is an
Thanks.
L. The second letter is an A. I have a feeling you might know this
Layer
word.
some. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Sorry. No, it was slow. It was so fast I don't think anybody heard you. So what is it?
layers.
Okay, now is it plural or singular here?
Is a layer. It's singular
Why?
because the previous written is asthenosphere. It's
Is, not are, right?
yeah.
So there's a couple points there. So is the layer of the earth, right?
Layer. Yeah.
Okay, how confident are you that that's the answer?
70%.
70% is pretty good. If you're 70% sure, I would keep it and move on, okay? I wouldn't search for it. But let's just check just for fun, okay? So 70% is good. What I'm trying to show you here, Sam, is that when you're doing your IELTS exam, you have the answers, a lot of them in your head, okay? IELTS isn't a university exam. You should be able to answer many of these questions without searching the text, as long as you're really thinking about it, okay? And see, you did know the word layer, so I was correct. You had it in your head. Now, we can look for asthenosphere. Sure, we can search for it. It's going to be a bit of a waste of time now, but let's look for it, see if we can find it. It's a long word. Let me know if you see it, because I'm looking for it as well.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
How conditional? Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, in this layer. Yeah.
In this layer, there it is. There's our word. Okay. So layers. So now we're 100% sure, right?
Yes.
Okay. But 70% was good enough. Okay. So we wouldn't necessarily search for that. Okay. So what I would do in the real exam, when I realized this, so the asthenosphere is the layer of the earth that is below the crust, is below the crust. Then I would move on, and I would only check this if I have tons of time at the end and I wanted to double check and I'm already sure of all my other answers. But 70% is good enough. So answer it, move on to the next question. Let's do that. So read this one here in this layer.
In this layer, hot gas and liquid rise up and replace colder areas. This process called something causes the changes of the position of Earth's continents over the millions of the years.
Okay, good. Now notice something interesting here, Sam. See how the beginning of this question is in this layer,
Yes.
right? They basically give you the answer for this one here. And that happens in IELTS reading, where when you read the next question, you often discover the answer for the previous question. Sometimes they don't give it to you directly like this. Sometimes they give it to you as a paraphrase, like in this region. So you have to be a little bit careful. But especially when you have this type of a question, like how does it work? And then you have two questions like this, it's a good idea to read both of these before you start searching the passage. Okay, so don't just read number one and then start searching, but read both, and then if you're like, okay, I still have no idea, then start looking at them. So it's good to look at these kinds of questions together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Right? So in this layer, hot gas and liquid rise up and replace cooler areas. This process called something causes the changes of the position. So what is that process called? Any idea?
Earthquakes or
No idea. I don't know. It's okay to say I don't know, Sam. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
earthquakes, maybe not. So, but we do know something. We know that we're looking for a process. Okay. All right. And we're looking for this. How does it work? So now we can have a quick peek at this. Okay. And we'll find it. So have a look. Let me know what it is, what it's called. Okay.
Information check. Plates
It's a
pushes the
process.
plates.
So think about the word
What's-
process. Process.
Okay. Shifting. Oh,
Okay, so shifting is what you think it is. Could it be anything else?
mm, like it could be circulation of hot and cold as well.
Okay, which one do you think is better, circulation or shifting? Well, take a look at, so you always want to read the full sentence, Sam, okay? So this circulation of hot and cold pushes the plates of the Earth's crust, shifting the appearance of the Earth over millions of years. Can you read that sentence for me?
Okay, this circulation of hot and cold pushes the plates of the Earth's crust, shifting the appearance of the Earth over millions of years, where plate goes and how
No,
fast
no,
it
don't keep
goes.
reading. Just the one sentence. That's kind of on
Okay,
topic.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
read too much. If you read too much, you're going to get confused, right? So you want to focus on that. Okay. All right. So this process called something causes the changes of the position of the Earth's continents over millions of years. So what do you think is the name of the process here based on what you just read?
Shifting.
No, almost though, but no, it's circulation. Okay.
Okay.
The circulation becomes this shifting. So this circulation, okay, So this process called circulation causes the changes of the position. If you visualize it, right, visualize the circulation, and the circulation is that pushing. So think about like the tires on the car, right? The circulation of the car
Yeah,
tires
yeah.
pushes or shifts the car, right? So this process called circulation causes the changes of the position, right? It's like the wheels of the earth that's moving those plates, okay? All right, so a little bit challenging, but that's okay. The main idea is don't spend too much time on it, okay? So if you thought that the answer was shifting, you'd have to put down shifting and then move on. If you get it wrong, it's not the end of the world. Most important, you want to get as many correct as possible, okay? All right.
Okay.
Okay, Sam, thank you so much for helping me out with these couple of questions here. Keep up the good studies, okay?
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye, Sam. All right, that was Sam. Give Sam a thumbs up there. Okay. All right. Amrit, I think, is ready to answer some questions. Hi, Amrit. Are you ready to answer some reading questions? Okay. I can see lots of people are joining in. That's great. Okay, Amrit. Hopefully you're there and you're ready to help me out with a couple more of these questions here. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Okay, so take your time, everybody. Slow and steady and being methodical wins the race. All right, Amrit. Hi, Amrit.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm also doing great, sir. What about you?
All right. As I said, I am doing all right. I've got it. Yeah, I'm a little bit stuffy, but it's all good. Okay, here we go, Amrit. So we're on to creating the Himalayas. Are you ready to help me answer these last couple of questions for these short answers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As I mentioned previously, with this kind of a question, it's often good to read the entire piece under each of these headings. So as a first step, what I'd like to ask you to do, Amrit, is just read all the way to question 6 here. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Go for it.
Creating Himalayas. In short, the subcontinent of India caused the Himalayas. India used to be much further south, closer to the modern country of a dash, though India moved only 12 centimeters per year. This rate added up over an dash amount of time. Eventually, the force of India pushing into Asia created the highest point on Earth dash.
Okay, so what do you think? Do you need to search for these answers, or you think you can maybe figure some of these out without searching?
Sir, according to me, I prefer to search in the passage.
No, Amrit. Do not prefer to search.
Okay, okay,
That's
sir.
it's a funny point, but it's you actually bring a really important point to the class right now, Amrit. I would say 99% of candidates are like you. They prefer to search, which is ironic because you should prefer not to search. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
so I'm gonna make a point about this here, Amrit, and I'm glad that you brought this up. Okay, most candidates prefer to search when your first instinct should actually be to not search. Do you know why?
It's because some students forget what they read in the past,
No.
what they read in before.
No, why I'm asking why should your first instinct be to not search? Why should your first instinct be to just answer from your head?
Use own knowledge and related to words, like. choose words related to the question.
Well, the answer is in some ways simpler, Amrit. It's because your brain is a supercomputer. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so imagine that you have the most powerful computer in the world sitting on your shoulders, and you're using it as a search device. You see what I mean, Amrit? You see what I mean? It's like
I like
use,
it.
it's
Yes,
like
sir.
it's like using your
Brain.
it's like using your smartphone for doing 1 + 1 = 2, right? It's so much more powerful than that. Your brain is so much more powerful than that. Your brain is a supercomputer. Don't underestimate it. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm having fun here talking to you, Amrit, and I want to convince you, and I want to convince everybody else that your first instinct should not be to search. Okay, watch. Let's do this. So read this first part again, just until number 4. So in short, the subcontinent of India.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you
Amrit.
repeat, sir?
Yeah, can you read this part here in short, the subcontinent of India? So read that again until number 4 here.
Okay, sir. In short, the subcontinent of India caused the Himalayas. India used to be much further south, closer to the modern country of
What
mm,
country? What
Asia,
country?
and maybe Asia, India, Australia, maybe
Yeah,
Australia.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. I mean, we remember the text. It came from far away, right? Far down south, right? And you're in India, so you probably studied this in school as well. Australia. So you don't need to search the text for that, right? Your first instinct shouldn't be to search because you know that answer. You learned it in school. You can remember that. Okay. Keep reading from though.
Though India moved only 12 centimeter per year, the rate added over an amount
Something
of time.
amount of time. So it added up over a. What do you think? If you had to guess, what kind of a word could fit well here? So it's only moving a little
Uh,
bit each year, just a few centimeters, but this rate added up.
like
So more and more over a. This would
uh,
have to be some kind of an adjective.
height, height, peak, mountain.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, say it. Say it. Don't just think it. Say it. What were you just saying there? Over.
Like
You
peak
just said.
or
Okay, you said big, right? So say the whole thing. Big amount of time, right? Okay, so can I use the word big here? Amrit?
no, I think large amount of time is goes.
Okay. So so big, large. Okay, watch. I'm gonna show you. You're
Uh,
gonna figure it out now. Be careful. What is this here? This word here. I just highlighted this very important little tiny word here for you. Remember, we're using our supercomputer.
and
Okay, it's an, right? What does that tell me, that an? That the next word has to start with
vowels,
a vowel. Okay,
vowels.
so what
I
kind
agree.
of a word do
Yeah.
you know that starts with a vowel that means the same as big or large? Okay,
Uh, like
so big is not because it would be a big or a large, but this is
in
an.
enor-
Yeah.
enormous.
And your supercomputer is doing exactly what it should do, Amrit, giving you the correct answers. Okay, enormous is the correct answer. Do you see that?
Yes,
Okay, so guess what your supercomputer is doing? It's working. Okay, it's in your head, it's working. So you realize that, hey, wait a second, okay, it's a big amount of time, it's a huge amount of time, a large amount of time, but those are all consonants. I need a vowel here. What word starts with a vowel. Enormous starts with a vowel, so it has to be enormous. Okay? Makes sense, right?
Yes, sir. It
Okay.
makes sense.
So in the IELTS summary, stay calm, focused, use your supercomputer. It's not a search device, okay? It's much more advanced than that. Let's do the next one. Go ahead and read from eventually.
Eventually, the force of India pushing into Asia created the highest point on Earth.
What's the highest point on Earth?
Mm, like,
It's eight.
like
Mm-hmm.
Himalayas, like Mount Everest, or
Yeah. Be
maybe.
confident. Be confident. You just gave me the answer. When you have the answer, be confident in your answer. Mount Everest, right? Okay, that's the highest point on Earth. It's 8,890 meters, about, I think. It's Mount Everest. That's the answer. You should not be searching for number 6, Amrit. Okay, number 6 is definitely an answer that you should not have to look for in the text. Okay, if you have to look for number 6, the only reason you would want to look for that is for the spelling, but that's it. Okay. So, Amrit, here's an important piece of advice. If you're going for a band 7, 8, 9, and you have this passage, these 3 questions, you should get the answer without searching the text. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Does
I
that
got
make
it.
sense? All right. So
Yes.
in these first few questions here, okay, the only question that we should really be searching for is continental drift, that one, and maybe this one here, circulation. Okay. So in total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. Of the 6 questions, if you're doing a good job in the IELTS reading and using the correct strategies from these 6 questions, you should only be searching for 2 answers. The other 4 answers should come from using your brain and comprehension. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's what you have to focus on. So Amrit, thank you so much for helping me to emphasize this really important point to all of our viewers, that skimming, scanning, searching should not be the number 1 strategy for IELTS reading or for reading comprehension. Okay?
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir. Like in question, they are using the another language like paraphrasing, but in the passage they are using the another word. So how can I improve uh, the synonyms?
So that's where you really want to focus on the overall meaning, right? So you want to understand what is actually happening. You cannot look at the passage word by word or synonym by synonym, but you have to understand the bigger picture, right? So like in this part here where we're talking about though India moved only 12 centimeters per year, this rate added up over on something amount of time. You have to understand the whole idea here that this Indian subcontinent was moving over millions and millions of years from south to north, smashing into Asia. And you have to understand that whole idea to really understand what the answers are. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Understanding is a key point.
Absolutely. Yeah. To get a band 7 or 8 or especially a 9, there's no way to do that without having an understanding of the passage. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right.
I got it now.
All right. Okay,
Bye,
Amrit.
bye, sir. Thank you so much.
Keep it up. Thanks, Amrit. Bye. All right, give Amrit a thumbs up. That was great. Okay, here we go. Let's move on to the true, false, not given. I need somebody to help me with these. And again, I'm here to guide you, so don't stress. Carolina, you want to volunteer for some true, false, not given? You always moderate, and I want to give you a chance to participate as well beyond moderating. So if you want to, Carolina, jump in for a couple of true, false, not given. I'm sure everybody would love to hear your voice as well. So get in there. If not, no pressure. Somebody else can volunteer also. We've got about 10 people or so here in the chat. Okay. Carolina says, okay. All right, Carolina, here we go. Hi, Carolina.
Hi, Adrian.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Pretty good. How is life today in Argentina?
It's getting cold here, so a little sad.
Right, you're in the southern hemisphere. Okay, well, it's getting warmer where I'm at in the northern hemisphere, but not too warm yet. Summer hasn't arrived yet for us here. Maybe I'm too far north. Okay, Carolina, so help me out with these true, false, not given questions. You know the strategy for this, right? So can you summarize for our viewers what the strategy is for true, false, not given?
Yes, so first you need to know if the choices are given. So you need to figure out if are important for the passage, and then you need to see if they are true or not.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a two-step process, right? First figuring out whether or not it's given or not given, and then figuring out whether it's true or false, right? So it's much easier to think about it that way. I agree. Yeah, you got it. So let's do this. Let's look at number 7. Can you read number 7 for me here?
Yes, in millions of years, the Himalayas will be much taller than they are today.
Okay, good. So do you think it's important to understand whether or not the Himalayas are moving or getting taller?
Yes, I think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the title is The Formation of the Himalayas, right? So if they're
Yeah.
getting bigger, wider, smaller, that's going to be pretty important when we're talking about the formation of the Himalayas. No question about that. Okay, now, is it true? Are the Himalayas growing?
Yes, it's true.
How do you know that?
Because of the passage.
Okay, yeah, that's circular reasoning. But give me the answer. Like, what does the passage say?
That over time, even with small little centimeters, is going to keep moving and keep growing.
Yeah, do you remember that one part? So I'm a very visual person. I practice that a lot, visualizing, and I don't know if you saw that, but I actually saw these mountains that are basically reaching to space eventually. Remember, it said in one part that they could get as high as 100 kilometers tall.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, could you imagine trying to climb a mountain that's 100 kilometers in height, right? So right now Mount Everest is what, 8.8, right? Can you imagine if it's 10 times, 15 times taller? That's incredible, right? You'd have to have it'd be quite the mission to climb it. So definitely this is true, right? So we wouldn't spend too much time here. So this is true. Okay, so we know that it's given, we know that it's true, we mark it as true, and then we move on. Can you read number 8 for me, please?
India and Australia were once connected.
Okay, what do you think? Important for the passage or not important for the passage?
They thought that India and Australia were closed, but I don't remember reading about connected.
Did you visualize it? Did you visualize them kind of stitched together and ripping apart? You didn't
No.
visualize that, right? Okay, so number one, you didn't visualize it. When you don't visualize it, because you should see something like that, right? Like if you see a bigger continent that's ripping apart, you would want to see that when you're reading. If you didn't see that, then you have to trust in that, right? Now that could mean that this is false, right? But we don't know that yet. Okay. Let's take it one step further. India and Australia were connected. Are we talking about the Himalayas? Is this directly talking about the Himalayas?
No, no,
It's
no.
not, right? It's talking about continents. It's not talking about Himalayas. So what can we assume here then? Or what can we infer? We can infer that this is maybe a little bit too much detail, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so what do you think the best answer is here?
not given.
That's right. I agree. So I would say not given as well because it's too much detail. Yeah, they mentioned Australia, but they just mentioned it briefly to give us a perspective of how far this subcontinent moved. They didn't get into a lot of details like, at one time there was Pangea, it ripped apart. That's something else. That's continental drift. This is about Himalayas, right? So this is a bit off topic. This is a bit too much detail. So you have to be able to realize that, be confident, right, not given, and then move on. Okay, number 9.
The tension between India and Asia has caused mountains to grow and earthquakes to occur.
Okay. Is it important to know what has caused mountains to grow and earthquakes to occur?
Yes, I think it's important.
I agree with you. It is important, right? Because we're talking about the growing mountains, the growing Himalayas, right? And they talked about earthquakes. Remember, they said some of the most violent earthquakes. So I visualized the earthquakes, right? Did you visualize the earthquakes?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay, so we think that it's given. Okay. All right, so now we know that it's given. The mountains growing and the earthquakes happening, is that caused by the tension between India and Asia?
No, that was caused by a collision.
Very good, Carolina. I applaud you. Bravo. Yeah, it's not a tension. Tension is like a pulling kind of concept, but it's not a pulling, it's a pushing, it's a smashing, it's a collision concept. So what's the right answer here?
No, false. Sorry.
False. Yeah, because it's a true false not given. So careful. It's a false in this case, right? Yeah, I really wish IELTS didn't do that. I wish they just had true false not given. I don't know why they confuse people with the yes no not given, but yeah, it's because it's the same idea. It's false. Yeah, it's false. You have to put F. Very good, Carolina. Excellent. Okay, last one here, number 10. Go ahead and read that for me.
Volcanoes are active in the Himalayas.
Okay. Is it important to know whether or not the Himalayas are volcanoes?
Uh, I didn't visualize that, so it's not given.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. A little bit of a break there. Careful. When you're doing the IELTS, Carolina, you should have on average 30 to 45 seconds per question in the reading. So if you read the passage in 10 to 12 minutes, that leaves you 8 to 10 minutes for the questions. That means, you shouldn't be rushing through questions. You should give every question at least 10 seconds of thought, okay? Did you visualize volcanoes? Were there volcanoes in this passage?
No.
Really? Then we missed something.
Volcanoes are like, yeah, maybe at the end, yes.
Right there were volcanoes right at the end there. Okay, volcanoes. So, that's where if you're not sure, it's okay to say I'm not sure too. Careful, because that's another answer that you could have is I'm not sure, right? I can't remember if I visualized that or not. I definitely saw the volcanoes, but it's okay to say I'm not sure. And so we have volcanoes here, okay? All right. So in this case, you might want to reread that, okay? Read this first sentence here.
Interestingly, another common consequence of plate tectonics and continental drift volcanoes do not take place in the Himalayas. It's false.
Right. So the correct answer here is
False.
false. Now, another way that you could think about this last one, Carolina, if you're not sure, is people are usually very curious when they look at a big mountain, if it's a volcano or if it's not a volcano. If I were to live close to the Himalayas, I would definitely want to know if Mount Everest is a volcano or not a volcano. This would be important for the passage, because the movement of those plates creating the formation of the Himalayas would also either form these volcanoes or not, right? So there is some logic there, okay? All right, so it's true, not given, and false, and false. All right. Carolina, thank you so much for helping me with these true, false, not given questions. You did a great job. I was very impressed by how you figured out number 9. I think that was actually the trickiest question of the 3. And always appreciate your moderating of the class. Yesterday there was one class that I had a lot of spamming going on, so that was really great of you to control that. So thank you so much.
No problem. Happy to help.
Okay, bye Carolina. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, everybody, time to give Carolina a thumbs up here. Carolina's always giving everybody a thumbs up, and she deserves a big thumbs up and a big clap for helping out. She's absolutely volunteering her time free and a super big help in these live classes. So give her a thumbs up, members. She deserves it. Okay. We've got a few more here. We've got false. False is usually somebody else. So let me see who this is. Are you ready to help me with the last 3? We need somebody to help me answer the last 3 questions, everyone. Last 3 questions. And then we'll move on. So last 3 questions. Sam is volunteering again. Sam's like, I want to get back in there. I got this. Okay, Sam, let's give another person a chance first, and if nobody else volunteers, Sam, then I will respect your ambition and get you on board here. Yeah, Sam says, could I do a second time? Hey, if nobody else is volunteering, sure you can. Sure you can. Are you ready? Sam is up for the challenge. Okay, I want to give everybody a chance, but hey, if people are not doing it, then let's get Sam back here today. Again. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
I appreciate your ambition, getting back in there for a second round. Good for you.
Just I see no one wants to read.
Yeah, but I get it. You know, like it's. You know, right now there's 123 people watching. People get shy, right? So it's all good. But good for you, Sam. Good for you. Building confidence through ambition. That's great. Okay, and we've got just a few more questions here. So let's do this, okay? Here we go. Questions 11 to 13. You may use any letter more than once. Really pay attention to those instructions. It means that you might have one of these answers not being used at all, and you might have one of these answers being used more than once. Okay, first step here is to read these. So can you read A, B, and C?
Continental drift, convection. Oh my god. how does that...
It doesn't matter. In the real IELTS, don't worry about the pronunciation. Yeah. So how would you pronounce it? Just read it.
Asthenosphere.
Sure, works for me. I don't know. Asthenosphere? I didn't study this either, so I'm just guessing as well. But I would say asthenosphere. Okay, so before we start to look at 11, 12, and 13, let's not jump there yet. Let's use our supercomputer, right? As what I was telling Amrit, your brain is your... So this is academic IELTS. You're supposed to use your brain. It's not a seek and destroy mission here. Continental drift, what is that? What does that mean? What do you think, Sam? What is continental drift?
Continental shifts, like they're separating.
Yeah, continents moving, right? So Asia, North America, Africa, moving around. You know what that is, right? It's a kind of process, right? It's kind of process. It's a theory, right? Okay, B, convection. What is that?
I don't know.
Fair enough. That's a good answer. it's important to be able to say that. Okay, asthenosphere, what is that?
It's a layer.
What layer?
It's a layer of the Earth.
Yeah, which one? Remember we had that question before, and I believe it was you that actually answered that question. So it's great that you came back. Which do you remember what layer that was referring to of the Earth?
Circulation of air.
It's the layer under the crust, the liquid
Yeah,
layer.
under the crust. Yeah.
It's the liquid layer under the crust, right? That all the continents are floating on. Okay. All right. So you know what continental drift is. You more or less know what asthenosphere is. You have no idea what convection is. Great. That should be enough to answer these three questions. Okay. Read number 11.
Theorized more than 4 centuries ago.
Which one do you think that is? A, B, or C?
Convection I think it's some of the process.
Okay, but you're not sure, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you might have to look for this one. What should you look for?
It could be both of A and B.
Well, wait. Let's look at 11 here. So, theorized more than 4 centuries ago. We're not sure what the answer is, so we're going to have to find this. So, we're looking for something from question 11. What do I have to look for from 11?
4 centuries ago.
4 centuries ago. Okay, what does that mean, 4 centuries ago?
It's the date.
Okay, and how much is 4 centuries?
400 years.
400 years.
Yeah. Ago.
There it is. 400 years ago. Okay. What do you think is the answer here? So it's paraphrase, right? 4 centuries.
Continental drift. It's the A.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so remember, use that supercomputer. You've got 40 seconds per question. You go through these logical steps, right? So the correct answer here, you just said it, it's A. Don't rush into answers, right? That's one of the sure ways to get a wrong answer, is just being a little bit too fast. So take a moment, process the information. If you're not sure, just like what you said, I don't know. Okay, so I'm not sure. And then you check. You only stick to your answer when you're sure. Okay. Okay, number 12.
It should be B.
Whoa. I just said, Sam, don't rush the answer.
Okay.
Can you read number 12 for me here?
States that Earth's landmass have shifted position over time.
Okay, what's another way to say landmass?
Continents.
Thank you. You have it, right? I'm just showing you that it's in your brain. I'm not giving you this. You have it. It's in your brain. Continent. Okay, so continents shifting. You actually said this to me when I asked you, can you define this word, or what is it? So what's the correct answer here? What states that the Earth's landmass...
C. It's asthenosphere.
Asthenosphere is a layer.
Yeah. And as well, landmass.
Sam. The correct answer is A. It's continental drift. Again, remember what I said. Pay attention to this piece of instruction here. You may use any letter more than once, okay? So, Sam, you're making a couple of the mistakes that so many students make on IELTS. A lot of candidates make the exact same mistake that you just made. They forget this very important rule that they're giving you, that you can use any letter more than once. When they have this rule, usually about 50% of the time, that's what happens. They actually use one answer more than once, okay? About 50% of the time they don't, but about 50% of the time they do. So you really have to be careful, Okay, and you really have to use your brain. It's your brain that's going to give you the answer. When you see the paraphrasing like this, land masses equals the same as continents, and shifted means drift. Okay, remember when I asked you what is continental drift and you said it's continental shifting? Remember you said that to me, right?
Yeah.
So you have that here. States that the land masses have shifted. Continental drift states that they have shifted over time. So it's A and A, right? Does that make more sense now?
Yes.
Okay, so don't be quick to answer. That's a really important piece of advice here. Take your time, okay? Think it through. Pay attention to that paraphrasing and trust your brain. You have to trust your brain, okay? And pay attention to the instructions, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's do the last one, number 13. Read that one for me.
Heat rises from the lower levels of the Earth towards the higher levels.
Okay, what do you think that is?
See, just we do
Okay, so C is the liquid layer, right? So heat
Yes.
rises from the lower levels of the earth towards the higher levels. Does that mean a noun like liquid layer? So
Should
question
be.
is this equal to liquid layer of the earth? Is that the same?
Yes, I think.
No, I don't think so, because I think this is a process, right? So heat rising and heat lowering is a process. It's not a noun. Okay, so C would be correct if number 13 was something like the liquid layer of the earth underneath the crust. If number 13 said the liquid layer of the earth underneath the crust, then definitely C would be the correct answer, but not in this case, right? So in this case, the correct answer then must be,
Convection.
yeah, B. And that was a tricky one for you because you don't know the word convection, right? But here, I'm going to teach it to you so you'll never forget it. You have an oven in your home?
Yes. Oh my God.
Aha, right? You just click, ding, light
Yeah.
bulb went off. Okay, you just realized your oven's a convection oven, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean for all of our viewers? Can you tell them what a convection oven is?
Is the in the oven heat air just like that?
Exactly, yeah. So the oven heats the air and circulates the air around the food, around the chicken, around the steak or whatever that you've put in there, right? And so it's called a convection oven. So that's what convection is, okay? Sam, it was awesome to have you here with me twice today, and I love your bravery. I commend you for it, and the kind of mistakes that you made, very common. So many, 90% of candidates make similar mistakes. So you helped a lot of people today to realize the better ways to think about these questions and how to approach with the right thinking, okay?
Okay.
All right, Sam, so keep it up. Remember, depend on your brain. You have a lot of beautiful knowledge in your head. You just have to dig deep and find that wonderful knowledge that's in there, okay?
Okay.
All right, Sam, keep it up, and I hope to see you in class again, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. All right, that was Sam. Big thumbs up. And I've gone over time, everybody, but that was so exciting to kind of have all these wonderful volunteers here today. Again, everyone, you want the right strategies, you want to pass IELTS, I know you do. Go to our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Use the code XR9T for that 25% discount. Our website packages are one-time payment, lifetime access. They don't cost a lot of money, and I'm not just trying to sell you these packages. I know that you will do better in your IELTS exam. So click that red button and do yourself a favor. Learn great thinking, great communication, and get great band scores on your next IELTS. General IELTS exam, same idea, green background, okay? Click that red button there. That's it for this class, but coming up, part 2, speaking in just under 30 minutes. And that will be an all chat class. Okay, so make sure to come back in 30 minutes. Carolina, thanks again for moderating. Thank you again, members, for your support. Yes, when you send me an email and when you've booked a speaking, don't worry, I will be in contact with you and we'll set it all up. It'll all work out just beautifully. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for now, coming back in 30 minutes. And just as a last note, you all have beautiful supercomputers that are quantum computers right in there. Quantum computers. You need to use those quantum computers inside your head. They're amazing. They build spaceships. Talk to you in 25 minutes. Bye for now, everybody.